Bitcoin and Litecoin at critical levels. What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I want to wish everybody a happy Thursday. We're going to take a look at the charts, see where we might be headed, look at some key areas to watch in both Litecoin and Bitcoin. And then if you stick around to the end of the video, especially if you haven't seen it yet, you definitely want to stick around to check out the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart. Nobody's really talking about it. I don't understand why, but it's very interesting and it seems to be playing out perfectly. So definitely stick around to the end to check that out. Also, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. That'll get you entered to win a free t-shirt, as we do a free t-shirt drawing every Sunday. We pick a random comment from a random video throughout the week, and that picks our winner. Also, in the description box below, don't forget to check out the affiliate links. That helps the channel out, guys. There's a Coinbase and ABRA link that if you make a deposit, you get some free Bitcoin. There is also Ledger link down there. Keep your cryptos safe, guys. Get them off the exchanges if you're not trading them. Not your keys, not your crypto. Also, Brave browser. You definitely need to check that out, especially if you're charting. It keeps out all the lag, and it's just a wonderful browser. So don't forget to check that out. Also, we have a free Discord link down below. Great community, guys. Come check it out. Everybody helps each other out. Everybody's learning how to chart. Watching people grow in there big time. It's a great community. I feel like I'm really getting to know them people. We're all, constantly talking. There's a lot of fun stuff going on, a lot of serious stuff, whatever. Definitely check it out. Let's get into the video. All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market can be extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind, it's still a speculative market. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose. With that being said, if you're new here, you haven't already, hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell. That'll get you notified when I post new videos, as I do post videos every day to try to keep you guys updated. Smash the likes, guys. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Really appreciate it. Helps the channel out. Also, before we begin, I do want to show you something pretty interesting. Now, guys, I'm pretty positive it's not real. I'm a pretty small channel. I highly doubt he would comment on my channel, but I do want to point it out. It does have some interesting things in it. So let's look at a comment we got in yesterday's video, and it says Satoshi Nakamoto. It says, "I'm still here just watching everything unfold. I will return again in the near future to make myself public. If you are wondering, no, Craig Wright is not me." Well, that's nice to know. "I'm a bit younger than him. I lived in Pennsylvania when I created Bitcoin. The Satoshi wallet was discarded forever to help initiate the floor for Bitcoin in its earliest stages. I only have approximately 200 Bitcoin for personal use. I will return in 2021. See you then." Then he has, it could be a scam. Someone put a wallet address in there, and it said, "This is one of my 7 wallet addresses." I haven't checked that address out to see when it was created, but that might be interesting. But if you're watching, whoever wrote this, it'd be kind of cool if you kept commenting in here and tell us a little more if you really are Satoshi. Anyways, I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. All right, we're going to get into the charts. Looking at Litecoin on the daily, I have obviously some pretty high targets here. And we're going to take a look at how I got them and what I'm looking at. So this first one here, the 167, we were looking at this $94 range as the neckline. And if we look at this as a cup starting over here, the rounded cup bottom, and then the handle formed here, and if we took a measured move off that to where it broke out of the handle, that gets us up to the 167 area, guys. There's another one I'm looking at. I don't really like the handle, but if we look at this as a cup again, up to here, and then a small handle here in the breakout, then that gets us up to the 192 area. And now, guys, that doesn't mean you shoot straight up. Obviously, there's a lot of up and down to get there. But those are my high targets there. I also have this target, looking at this as a rising broadening wedge. with the bottom trend line here, the top of it here. And if we were to break out of it, break out right up here, that gets us up to the 239 area. Definitely possible, no doubt about it. Also, this one's kind of more just for fun, but this top trend line I have right here also could be a broadening wedge. This, like I said, this one's just more for fun, but if we were to break out of the top of that and go up to that 239 and then use this as our measured move, that'd get us up to around the 330 range. Definitely possible. Not so sure that would be this year, but stick around to end too. I do have my end of the year target if you haven't seen it. I have a pretty interesting end of year target for Bitcoin. So anyways, let's look into the RSI on the hourly. You can see we're still in this rising wedge that we've been in since November. This obviously looked like a bear trap here, but we are definitely still inside it. Let's look into the 4 hour and see what that tells us on price action. This one looks a little messy, guys, but since April we've been in this falling channel. This would be the bottom line, and this would be the resistance up here. Looks like we had, actually this one's, it moved a little bit on me. I don't know why that does that sometimes in trading view, but anyways, that's the rising channel and the falling channel, and inside in these blue lines you see a rising channel. Right here we had a falling wedge which we broke out of, and we were watching that and looking for it, and we broke out and got into a falling channel and broke out of the falling channel, got into another falling channel, broke out of this falling channel, and this is all within this blue rising channel, and now we are back inside another rising channel. I do believe we probably have another move up to here, and if not, guys, then obviously the bearish scenario, and we're going to take a look at that also. Let's go into the price action and see what's going on. And guys, if you guys are charting, you can use this style charting in all time frames. It works just as well. I used to use a lot of Elliott Wave. I don't use that so much anymore. I do use it to verify some stuff and whatever, but for predictions, I think Elliott Wave is horrible. It does work for verifying, you know, and it has some uses, but for predictions, I don't trust it at all. But anyways, well, let's look at these other targets I have here now. Like I said, first we're going to take a look at the bearish target or targets. So if we were to break down from here, I'm looking at this trend line to hold as support, and say if we came down right here right now, looking around the $100 range to get a bounce. If this breaks through, then we're looking at the bottom of this rising broadening wedge here in the blue, and the bottom of that would be around the $90 range. And if that wasn't to hold, my next area of support is, if you look here, we had a bunch of resistance here at the $62 range. That would be a very good support, in my opinion. If we were to break through there, worst case scenario is the 53.31, which is the long-term trend line from where we hit bottom over here. So I don't know why that's not showing up, but anyways, yeah, that's the bearish scenario. Now let's look at the bullish scenario, which I'm still leaning more towards the bullish scenario, guys. So looking at this, excuse me, looking at this as a flagpole and then a bull flag forming here. If we were to break out from here, guys, looking at the 137 range would be the top of this wedge. That's only if we went straight up. We obviously will probably, you know, go up, maybe make a little bull flag and come up. And I have this area of interest right here, which is this top trend line of the bigger rising wedge, and then obviously the top of this rising broadening wedge. And that's around the 145 range, guys. And that's very possible. I think that could be where we're headed this move. And if we break through that on this move, we break above the 145, we're able to break that resistance. Well, obviously that 167 from the cup and handle is here, but another measured move off that would be measuring the rising wedge. And usually, guys, rising wedges break down, falling wedges break up, but it can change, especially in a very bullish market or a very bearish market, which I believe we're in a very bullish market right now. And obviously that next target was that 192 area, which was the bigger cup and handle. But for the measured move off of this broadening wedge, around the 202 area. That's what I'm looking at with that, guys. We're going to look at Bitcoin now. And this one looks a little bit messy. It's kind of clumped up. And we'll take a look at the bearish targets after we take a look at the bullish targets. So we looked at this here as a cup and a handle with a neckline at 5,700. And we came, obviously, here's the cup and then that little handle there. And the measured move off that, guys, was the 80, right around the $8,400-$8,500 range, which we hit. Now let's take a look at my next targets here. 96, this 9,600 area is the area I've been watching and still watching as our next target, guys. And that would be looking at this, the yellow lines here, as a rising broadening wedge or ascending broadening wedge. And the measured move to where we broke out, that's what gets me to the $9,600 range. So that's that target. Now let's look at a couple more targets in here. And again, like I said, we'll look at the bearish scenario too and look at these targets when we go into the 4 hour. But looking at this here, I'll show you how you got these next two targets. Looking at this as a, let's zoom in a little bit. Looking at this as a flagpole and then this as that bull flag, the triangle right here that we broke out of. Looking at that, the measured move off that would be, if we put it to where we broke off the triangle, this is the measurement of the flagpole. That gets us up to the 10.6 area, guys. I've been looking at that for, I don't know, about a week, maybe a little more now. But that would be the 10.6 area. Now we take that same flagpole, and if this was forming a flag, and like I said, usually these rising wedges break down, but in a very bullish market, they can still break up. So if we were to break out up here, you know, this target for this is around 11.6. We're going to go into the RSI, and then I'm going to take a look at the 4 hour and take a look at the bearish scenario and some other smaller targets. So, all right. Bitcoin on the daily in the RSI. Obviously, we had this rising wedge we were watching, and we broke out of here. I drew this other support line after we broke out down here and just aligned it with this one. And obviously, we got support again from there. Now, I mentioned in a couple videos now that this could be forming a inverse head and shoulders for this next move up. So definitely keep an eye on that. Also, let's go into the 4 hour, and then we'll go into the price action on the 4 hour. This one's getting a little messy. Not quite sure of what to make of this yet. This could be a, you know, rising wedge forming here, or obviously a rising channel. But either way, it's rising something for right now. But I do believe we could come up and test the top of this again, which this was a rising wedge that we broke down from right here, and we may come up, test the top again here. Bearish scenario obviously would be this could be a head and shoulders forming, and then down, you know, and retest the bottom of this channel. So keep that in mind. We're going to look at the price action now in the 4 hour, and I'm going to take a look at the bearish scenario, and then we'll take a look at obviously the bullish scenario. So looking at where we're at now, we did the higher measured moves already. Now, if this is a rising wedge here, I was trying to get an Elliott count in there and see if that was a ending fifth wave diagonal, which is possible, but it's just kind of funky looking. So I'm going to go ahead and do a measured move off this like you would measure a wedge. You can measure it here and take it to where we would break down. And the reason I'm looking at breaking down there, if we do break down, guys, I have a target here of about $84.50 to $8,500 range, which would be us dropping down to retest this and then, you know, continue up. And if we were to continue up, well, we'll talk about that afterwards. I want to show you the bearish scenario. So bearish scenario, if we were to break down out of this wedge, we could just come back down and touch the top of this triangle, which would be around the 79.50 to 8,000 range, somewhere in there, which would also coincide with this trend line we had here from where we got support here, support here, support here, support here, support here, support here. So that's a pretty confluent area with both that bull flag and this trend line here. So that is a definite possibility. Keep that in mind, guys. We could get a bounce from here, and if not, that measured move is the worst case scenario in my opinion. And at the end of the video, it matches up with a correction also, but would be getting us down to, oops, let me move this up to where it would break first. That'd get us down to around the $6,600 to $6,700 range, guys. Worst case scenario. And I don't believe it would be straight down. You know, it would probably come over like this and, you know, whatever. But the 71 area too, I'm keeping an eye on, which this target will move up. And that target is this trend line right here that we've obviously broken out of, that rising broadening wedge. So keep an eye on that. Let's look at a Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart. And if you guys see that, this is my target for the end of the year, $46,000. I know that's bold, but that's what I'm calling for, guys. So now we're going to look at the similarities to what's going on here. If we look at gold, and gold's in the weekly, mind you, it's a lot longer. It's like over 20 years. Bitcoin's way faster. You know, the adoption's coming a lot quicker with cryptos. Also, now we have the internet. We have, you know, it's easier to get access to them with the exchanges and whatnot. And a pattern is a pattern, and this is playing out the same pattern. This is why I believe hyperwave is bullshit. I don't believe we're in a hyperwave, if there is a such thing. I mean, it sounds like made up crap to me. But anyways, I do trend lines from each peak, and when we broke through those, obviously we never looked back. I do want to point out right in here, 2003, the gold ETF was approved. And I know people say that the ETF won't help Bitcoin. There's your proof. Look what it did to gold. Also, how this bottomed out. It had two touches on the bottom here. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it, and then we'll go into Bitcoin and look at the same thing. As you can see, I had this long-term trend line. Touched bottom twice before we, you know, obviously you can see what happened. Now, if we look at Bitcoin, it's doing the same pattern. A pattern is a pattern, guys. Charts are based on human emotion. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. Some people are misunderstanding that. They think, you know, I don't believe that the news makes a lot of this happen. I believe the people that know about the news before we know about the news make it happen. So that's why I say that show me the charts, I'll tell you the news, because something's going on here. They know something's happening. Could be the gold ETF. I'm pretty confident that that's probably what it is, but if not, it's some good news coming, guys. Period. It's all right here, you know. Like I said, a pattern's a pattern. But anyway, I drew the same lines off each peak here. As you can see, just like in the gold pattern, two touches on the bottom, and we're making the exact same moves. And each time we hit one of these trend lines, it was resistance and then becomes support. So I showed you in yesterday's video, and if you didn't see it, I'm going to show you again. If we look at those areas, say if we corrected from here, I know everybody's waiting on this huge correction, but I do believe this trend line here is going to hold, guys. Say if we corrected from here, we come down to this trend line at the $6,700 range. which would be right around where I was showing you the breakout of that triangle or that rising wedge. So it's possible, but I don't know. I think this thing's going to keep going parabolic. But anyways, that's my opinion. But yeah, if we were to break down to this $6,650 to $6,700 range, that's a 25% retracement, guys. So if we were to go up to that 96 target, to go down to that, back down to this trend line is going to be about a 30% retracement. If we go to the 10.6, that would be a 37% retracement. If we go to, obviously you get the picture. If we went to 11.6 and come back down, touch this, that'd be a 55% retracement. So let's go into the RSI in the weekly, and I'm going to show you what I'm looking at in there. This is the RSI in the weekly. This is the bull run from 2013, followed by the bear market. And I drew this trend line here. We had 2 touches of resistance on this trend line before breaking through, and then obviously starting the bull market. This is the 2017 bull market with the 2018 bear market. Drew the same trend line, 2 touches of resistance on it, and boom, there we are now. Now, people are saying we're oversold. We can obviously go quite a bit higher. And then a correction. But these corrections, they look big in the RSI. But if we look at, go into the log chart and we'll look at each one of those, they're really not that giant of corrections, guys. As you can see, even though it was coming down, looked like big corrections in the RSI, it was, you know, going up big time the whole time. I believe we're going to see something like the same thing here. Obviously, we're way up here now, but I believe we're going to see the same thing. I'm pretty sure we're in a pretty hefty bull market, guys. So let's go into the monthly RSI. And I had some arcs drawn in here. And if you look at what I have here is 2013 bull market, followed by the bear market. Each one of these arrows represents a new low in the RSI on the monthly. And as you can see, we had 4 lows here in the bear market. This is the 2017 bull market, followed by the 18 bear market. Same thing, 4 lows. Now this is going up a lot higher. I do believe this arc is going to look more like this. It's going to be a lot quicker. So I don't know. Keep that in mind, guys. Everything is looking extremely bullish for the long term. You know, we may have some dips here and there, but the people that are out there trying to get you to fear the market and stuff, if you pay attention to what's going on, and don't pay for the paid groups, guys, they're a ripoff. All you're doing is supporting their gambling habits and supporting their lavish lifestyles. If they were that good at trading, they wouldn't have to sell you stuff. So just keep that in mind. You can learn all this on your own. There's tons of free information on the internet, and just it's not that difficult, guys. Learn on your own. You'll be way better off. There's tons of free content. I have a hashtag free content only thing I've been putting up. I really truly believe in that. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, click the Crypto Savvy logo above my head. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash those likes, guys. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the Satoshi note, too. That's pretty interesting. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.